and we have gone with different types of actions, IG mod feature. We have also seen maintenance and configuration of info types, and we have maintained data in the last classes. So what I will do is I'm going to, for example, to organizational assignment. For example, I'm going to some organizational assignment and maintain. For example, we'll try to check certain things. Here, what we see is we are maintaining like payroll area. For example, here we are maintaining A1 or 98 something we are maintaining. Why we are maintaining? Because it's mandatory. If I don't maintain it, it will not work out. I'm not able to save it. Here, legal person is a field that we have not used. We are not using usually in real time also. Mostly we are not using. It's a body of legal body relevant for a particular group of employees. For example, you can use it if required, particularly for certain European countries. Business area is a segment of business. This is also we are not using while we are hiring or maintaining data. And this is a non-mandatory field, for example. So these fields can be influenced. These fields can be influenced. For example, this is a mandatory field without which I cannot even save. I have to enter some value. This is contract field. Contract field. So it is value we created, labor union, other things we created, but it should be, for example, we created labor union, trade union, values we created, we can choose. For example, I can choose. So this field is active. What does it mean? Active meaning I can type here. For example, I can type some code here, business area code. Or I can select from the drop down value like trade union or labor union. I can select from the drop down values. That's what active meaning a field is active, meaning it is ready for input. You can select from the drop down, or it can be defaulted, or you can type a code or the value. So I want to influence. These are the standard fields I want to influence. So whatever we are seeing here is on a screen. So you are working with the user interface, how you are working with the particular screen, not only this screen or any info type screen. So for that reason, you have to understand about the screens and the screen modifications. So what I will do is I will share notepad so that we can discuss about this screen modifications. What we are talking about is screen modifications. So screen modifications, whatever info type screen or any other screen that we are maintaining, is because it is working with the screen so that the user, we can interact to the system through the screen. So it is done by the module pool programming. So this module pool programming, you can also call it as dialog program, dialog programming or dialog problem. So this module pool is used with each and every info type. This module pool is for the purpose of maintenance of interface for a particular info type, like we have just checked. Organizational assignment is an example that I have taken. This model pool. So the name of the model pool, for example, MPNNNN. For example, some number. Let me type 00 here, 00. So here M stands for the module pool programming. P is the program for personal HCM. For example, HCM meaning human resources management. Module pool program for human resources. P specifying personnel. And this NNNN, 4 N's, is nothing but the info type number. We know that info type is a 4-digit number, like 0000, 0001, 0002, 185, 0185, 0105. All these are nothing but numbers. And how many digits? Info type is 4-digit number, of course. So this M specifying the program, model pool program, P specifying HR, human resources, model pool programming for human resources. P literally means personnel. And the 00, for example, I'm typing 00 at the end, specifying the standard version. So this module pool program or dialog programming is a special type of program which is used to create custom SAP screens as per the project requirements, or for modifying the standard SAP screens. Okay, so for example, SE80, it's a T code. It's nothing but a transaction code or T code for creating the module pool programs. This is the T code, SE80 T code. So SC80T, see it one, if you have any programming experience, you will understand immediately. It contains include STMTS, include STMs. The main program contains include STMTS. The main program you can create, with PM01 T code. So dialogues in HR, the system, when you are maintaining, we are saying MPNN00, for example. System is creating for HR. The system also creates these includes. For example, let me say MP0010. So the program STMTS and the declaration of the common data objects. common data objects. What I'm saying is the program STMT and the declaration. So what we have to understand here is, if you have ABAP skills, you will try to maintain the custom screens. It is good if you have ABAP skills, but you are learning SAP functional HR, SAP HCM functional. So you have two things. If you have skill, you can do. Otherwise, as an SAP HCM consultant, also you have to modify the screens. You have two things here: to create custom SAP screens as per the project requirement. Second thing is modify the standard SAP screens. So if you have ABAP skills, you will be creating SAP custom screens. Even if you don't have ABAP skills, as an SAP HCM consultant, you are supposed to modify the standard SAP screens if that is what the requirement is. That's why we are even talking about this module pool programming. Declaration of common data objects. So 2020 is for PBO modules. PBO modules for screens. Then I'll go with 30. Say I'm going with 30. PAI models for screens. And let me go for 40. Subroutines. You're calling the subroutines in the program. This much you can do with these T codes. If you have ABAP skills or you are HR ABAP, you can do this much. But as a HCM functional consultant, you must require to know at least which program is going for. Another thing we have to understand are the screens. Info type screens. For example, info type screens. So at least there are three types of screens are there, info type screens. One is initial, we can call it initial screen, single screen, list screen. These kind of initial screens. Let's understand how this initial screen is. What is this initial screen? So initial screen, you can call it as backend screen. You can also call it as backend screen because it works in the background. You can use the code 1000. You can say 1000 screen. Initial screen code is identified with 1000. We are not talking about info type. It's not info type number. I'm talking about screen, which are evident here. Initial screen, single screen, list screen are part of the setup for an info type, for example. You can call it as 1000 screen. So it is used as a technical interface. It's a technical interface. Screen 1000 is used as a technical interface. It is used for all info types. It's all used for all info types. So backend screen, why we are calling it as backend screen? Because it is processed in the background. It is processed in the background and not displayed. That's why we are calling it as the backend screen. It performs general initiation procedures. General initiation procedures. That's what about the initial screen. Next, come to single screen. Single screen. So single screen, you can give it a code 2000 code. 2000 screen, you can call it 2000 screen. We are not creating these screen numbers. Type of screen we are not creating. It is predefined. Single screen, list screen, initial screen. These are the numbers specifying that screen number. For example, 2000 screen, which is called a single screen. It is an interface between the system and the user. So whatever we are interacting, for example, we have seen the screen, we are interacting with that screen by maintaining data. Just a few minutes ago, we have seen the screen, interactive screen. So you can call it as an interface between the system and the user. So which we have done, it enables to create or delete or delimit or change or modify the data records. It allows you to do that depending on the type of T code that you're using, like PA30 for example. Okay, so you have initial screen, single screen, then you have list screen. List screen. So you can call it this 3000. List screen is 3000. So it enables to list all records in a single screen. That is why we are calling it as a list screen, like overview screen. So here we are maintaining the MP, for example, MP, I'm giving an example of MP, some info type, say 0007 or 6 and standard 100. Or let me take 1. When I'm typing 1, this is the module pool for HR, and this is the info type number 0001, nothing but your organizational assignment. This is the standard version. And status program name you can maintain in the GUI, graphical user interface. You can maintain, for example, status. You can maintain dis for display, and table name P0001. How do I know table name? Because we are talking about info type 1. So I'm taking table name as P0001. That's how it's maintained. A table category structure. I'm not going into all the above details right now. We will stick to whatever is required for us. All these details I'm not going into, just for your information. These screens, but you must understand these screens, single screen, list screen, and other screens you must understand. Now here we can take some real-time requirement, real-time scenario.
Sir, sir,
Yes,
I have a doubt.
yes,
That screen 1000, 2000 are there now.
yes.
So they are predefined, or else we are giving an example of this. It is a 2000 or 1000 or 3000.
Yeah, that's what we discussed right now. Screen we are not creating, like you are creating some other codes. All these days we have been creating some 4-digit codes, 2-digit codes, right?
Yes, sir.
So screen we are not creating. But technically, is it possible to create? Yes, it is possible. That is why you need to have some ABAP skills.
Okay.
There are two aspects to it. In the here initially what I said, you two aspects to it. You can create custom SAP screens. For doing that, you need to have ABAP skills. And in that case, these numbers can change. These numbers can
Okay, sir.
2000, 3000, 1000 can change. Other number you can specify. But these screens, back end screen is 1000. It is fixed. Nobody is creating it. It is fixed. Single screen is 2000 screen. It is fixed. List screen is 3000 screen. It is fixed. The ABAPer knows, the functional consultant also knows this. What can you do here? Maximum you can modify, because you are talking about SAP HCM functional subject. You can modify. Two things you can do. You can create SAP screens, SAP custom specific screens. Two, you can modify. We are talking the second part. But if you have ABAP skills, you can discuss how it is done for SAP screens, custom specific screens. If that is what your question, we can discuss that part. Otherwise, I will just stick to this HCM functional part. So let me take a scenario, a real-time scenario. Do I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it, sir. I understood.
Okay. So scenario is like this. So in in the screen organizational assignments, we went to the screen and we checked that the field legal person, legal person. So this legal person, let me specify this as a field. This is as a field, and this field is present currently, current, and and this to be screen or to be screen. So legal person is the field. I'm taking one small scenario. Current, what is there? Legal person is grayed out. Grayed out. What is grayed out? Grayed out meaning the field is not ready for input. Today we have seen what it means to be input in the screen, SAP screen. We have seen in the info type screen. Meaning in business area field, I can type something. In business area field, I can type something, meaning it is active for input. Grayed out means you cannot type anything in there. Business area, because it's grayed out. What I want to do, it needs to be hidden. This is a small requirement for example, legal person. Then personnel sub area field is there. Sub area, personnel sub area. So it is non-mandatory. Non-mandatory. I want to make it mandatory. Non-mandatory, I want to make it mandatory. Then you have business area field. We have seen today business area field. Business area field is active for input because I could type something or I can check from the drop down. So it's active for input. So while I'm hiring or doing something, I'm not using this business area. Suppose that's what is happening in the project. Business area you are not maintaining. So I want to hide this again. Then payroll area field is a mandatory field. Why it is a mandatory? How do I know? Because if I don't maintain any value in payroll area, it is not saving, it is throwing error. Meaning it is a mandatory field. And the requirement is to make it non-mandatory. Non-mandatory. Then you have contract field. Contract field, which has got a active drop down. What do you mean by drop down? The values you can choose from the drop down values. You can choose. And I want to gray it out. Gray it out. That is, this is only for organizational assignment screen. That's it. In real time also it can happen, or the scenario might change. But whatever the scenario comes to you in real life, you should be able to handle it because you know how to do it. That is why I am taking a real time scenario here. It can change. The requirement can change, but the process you need to maintain. In addition to that, this contract. So here what you need to understand is for contract field, what we have seen in org assignment is actually is work contract. That we have don't have to be confused. Work contract field, and uh, it is not related to info type 16 contract elements. We are not talking about that. This contract field that we have seen today is nothing but work contract. It is written as contract, but it is work contract actually. But um, it is not work contract. I mean contract elements. It's not work contract elements. Contract elements is different, which is info type 0016. Because you need to know, because it's a small requirement of small scenario, but it is okay, you know how what the process, how it is maintained. In addition to that, there may be a requirement to enhance the field, info type 1 field for reporting manager, or reporting manager position number, or personnel number of the manager. These things can be enhanced, which can be done by ABAP. I'm not going into that subject, ABAP subject. All right. So the same story as every day. You can log out and log in after 15 minutes.